So there have been 4 U.S. casualties in Operation Epic Fury. Now, Army Reserve soldiers from Des Moines, Iowa. Now, Megyn Kelly had a bizarre take on their deaths, which I'll play here. Now, she has the right to speak her opinion, and people who disagree with her have the right to speak their opinions. Here's Elizabeth Hasselbeck on The View.
Yeah. Number one, Megyn Kelly's clip that we ran before saying who those troops died for.
I don't think those 4 service members died for the United States. I think they died for Iran or for Israel.
How dare you, Megyn Kelly? How dare you tell a military person who has sacrificed their lives for our nation in our uniform, when they are sacrificing their lives in our uniform, how dare you tell them or their families or our nation what they died for? I have my heart with my friends in the military. You do not get to authorize who they died for. So let me just clear that up.
Now, in my view, Megyn Kelly is misguided, and she sounded so angry even in that short clip. Now, as Elizabeth Hasselbeck stated so eloquently, it would be a mistake to assume that our U.S. soldiers who made the ultimate sacrifice agreed with Megyn Kelly, who asserts out of nowhere, okay, it's a tale she spins out of nowhere, with no evidentiary basis that our U.S. soldiers allegedly died for the people of Iran or for the people of Israel and not for the people of the United States when they wore the U.S. uniform. Now, they died serving the country that they loved. If they didn't love America, they wouldn't have signed up. They could have just gotten a different type of job. Now, I believe we can assume that. Now, it's not a stretch of the imagination to say they died for the country that they loved and served, the U.S. of A. Now, our U.S. soldiers who died are not here to speak for themselves. Now, but Elizabeth Hasselbeck's statement doesn't stretch credulity and doesn't demand a leap in logic. Now, her statement is a lot more likely to be true than Megyn Kelly's. A lot more likely. Now, as predicted, Megyn Kelly clapped back. Now, Joy Behar on The View had said, Megyn Kelly will come after you for saying that. She's like the roller derby. And Megyn Kelly's clapback did resemble the roller derby. She responded with ad hominem personal attacks against Elizabeth Hasselbeck, attacking her character with no evidence, yet again, rather than addressing the argument. Now, Megyn Kelly said, and I quote, Elizabeth was too weak to handle the ladies of The View and even the morning set of Fox and Friends, unquote. And that statement contradicts the clip we just watched from The View. Now, Megyn Kelly is the one who's weak, in my humble opinion. Then Megyn Kelly has the nerve to go on to say, and I quote, she ran from the public square into exile so she could avoid mean people saying unflattering things about her, and there are many, unquote. Now, again, an ad hominem personal attack. Not the type of response we would expect from a genuine thought leader, especially since ad hominem personal attacks are regarded as a logical fallacy. Now, here we are, not even a full week into the conflict with Iran, and both houses of Congress already have rejected war powers resolutions that sought to curb President Trump's military actions. Now, the resolutions failed because, thankfully, the majority in both houses recognized the urgency of Operation Epic Fury. Now, some right-wing isolationists were upset because President Trump had campaigned on no forever wars. Iran won't be a forever war. It's a necessary war because time doesn't stand still. Now, what happened was that technology had moved forward, and Iran was a lot closer to gaining the ability to strike the United States militarily. Now, to that extent, Israel had become the canary in the coal mine because of its location. Now, what Iran can do to Israel, it would gain the ability to do soon enough to the United States. Now, some senators who voted for the war powers resolutions wanted to know why now. Well, that question ignores the concept of time, okay? We have to act while it's on our side. We have to act while we still have time. Now, I'll say, I'm not surprised that most Democrats voted for the war powers resolutions, just like they voted for the Iran nuclear deal. Now, we all remember that, an Obama-era scheme that guaranteed Iran would develop a nuclear weapon over a period of 10 years and gave them $10 billion with which to do it. Now, Iran didn't use that money to feed its people. Remember at the time Obama and Biden told us, time marches on. If we don't do the deal, Iran will develop a nuclear weapon in 7 years, maybe 5 years. So the nuclear deal was supposed to delay the inevitable for 10 years. Can you believe it? Just 10 years. Now, President Trump saw a different option. Drop a midnight hammer on their nuke facilities and make it 100 years. Now, Midnight Hammer was just last year, and at the time, Democrats doubted whether the Midnight Hammer had been destructive enough. Well, Operation Epic Fury will put an end to the uncertainty. And what happens afterwards? Regional managers with proven managerial ability, as I mentioned in my previous video, could be appointed by the U.S. and Israel to govern Iran, at least through the post-war era. Okay, if in the future the people of Iran vote to make this type of governance permanent, that would be their decision, and Iran could become a U.S. territory or maybe a joint U.S. Israeli zone. In any event, for the post-war era, managers could be appointed. Now, I realize some folks are concerned that U.S. taxpayers would be funding this regime change. No, because let's not forget, Iran, like Venezuela, is a petrostate. Iranian oil can fund the regime change. So the concerns about tax increases can be put to rest, and if the buildings and other infrastructure in Iran need to be rebuilt or built from scratch, those contracts can go to U.S. companies and Israeli companies. There's no downside once the war is over. And eventually farther into the future, after the post-war period, maybe 50 years from now, Iran will need a constitution which could be modeled on our constitution. Now, whatever laws they need could be modeled on our laws. Now, even all of the regulations that Republicans don't like, U.S. regulations can provide the blueprint. And in the future, when Iran does become free and democratic, maybe a couple of generations from now, Iran probably will be as prosperous as Germany and Japan, and a strong ally to the United States and Israel. Now, as I mentioned, the War Department announced 4 U.S. casualties who died in Kuwait during a drone attack by Iran. So what happened is Iran is attacking its neighbors, even its ally Lebanon, in the Persian Gulf region to try to get them to join the war on its behalf. Now, Iran has attacked about 10 nations so far. It's a desperate plan. The Gulf region is much better off remaining neutral or allying with the U.S. and Israel, which have the upper hand. Now, I don't anticipate that any of the Gulf nations will panic and join with Iran, which has terrorized the world for nearly 50 years. Now, the U.S. and Israel are finishing off the regime so that we can all enjoy peace and prosperity. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and don't forget to subscribe.